let's play a game. All right. On the count of 3, name your favorite dinosaur. Don't even think about it. Just name it. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Velociraptor. What?
Did we just become best friends?
Yup.
You want to go do karate in the garage?
Yup.
This is the Karate in the Garage podcast with Mason Merrill and Weston Toth. Welcome to another edition of the Karate in the Garage podcast. My name is Mason Merrill, and I'm back here again with my co-host, Weston Toth. How you doing, Weston?
Good, Mason. How you doing, man?
Good. A little bit of a crazy, busy day, but otherwise I'm doing pretty good.
Yeah, what's been going on in the land of Pampa, Texas?
Well, I have lost track of my parents' dog. They're currently in New England on a business trip, and I was let it out yesterday, and the lawn man had left the gate open, so it got out and has not returned. So pretty bummed about that. Everybody's pretty bummed. We even put out flyers and drove around all morning trying to put out flyers and things like that, and trying to just figure out what we're going to do to try to find him. So,
wow, man, I am so sorry to hear that. Those dirty lawn guys, I mean, besides me,
yeah.
or what I used to do, all those lawn, you know what? I have the same quarrel. So I have lawn guys that come and cut my grass every week or every other week, and they just suck. They don't care. It's a sad one, but I mean, when it involves a puppy, I mean, I don't even know. If they left the gate open for my dog, I would have someone's, how do I say this in not violent way? You understand.
Yeah.
So.
No, it's a big bummer. I'm pretty frustrated about it. They're pretty sad too. So let's just hope like it turns up in the next few days or so. Somebody brings it to the vet or to the animal control. I've been checking there every day. But anyway, so that's been my goings on besides just working all day today. I do like content creation, and I recorded like 60 slides today. So I figured, hey, why not throw in another podcast?
Yeah, good, dude. Good for you. I mean, that's always the dream that I want to achieve too, is content creation in the form of podcasting, game streaming, and also videographies. And so, hey, you've achieved it. I'm just chasing your coattails, basically.
Yeah, I mean, sort of. I was doing like HR workplace harassment webinar, so that's pretty fun.
I mean, basically the same thing that I want to do.
Yeah. Good times. Anyway, well, yeah, so just a couple little rundown things. Next week I am going to be traveling, and I hope that I can I got my portable mic working with my iPad today, so hopefully next week I will be able to be here for the podcast, but otherwise we may have a special guest joining us next week.
Yes, so there may be a special man that lives in Alabama coming to join us on the podcast. He's a childhood friend of us as well, but he has been hanging out, playing games, and is I think he'd be a great addition. So either way, I will be doing it with him, or we will all be doing it together, hopefully. So.
Yeah, I'm hoping to be here for it, and that would be good. The original format of this podcast actually included him, and he just can't commit for like every week. So, but it would be
he's
good.
He's got a wife, and he's got to hang out with her. I don't know, something like that.
Yeah, something like that. I have a wife and a kid and a baby on the way. But no, it's cool. But
True.
Yeah, so anyway, I'll be traveling next week. I'm going to be back in Georgia helping out a friend with some work stuff and all that, so I'm hoping to be here, but otherwise you'll get to hear the lovely sounds of Weston and Spencer next week. But yeah, he was originally, when we started this idea like a year ago, we had done some test runs with him, and he was originally supposed to be a part, but anyway, it all works out. It'd be nice to just have another voice on the podcast anyway.
Yeah, hopefully I'm not too Disney hungover.
Yeah, what's going on with you tomorrow?
Yeah, so I'm going to Disney World in Orlando, Florida tomorrow, and we're going to go for 6 days, and we're going to do all the parks and Islands of Adventure and Universal Studios. So I'm going to walk I know. We're going to have a lot of fun. We're going during the Food and Wine Festival, so we're going to eat a ton of food that we never eat and drink a lot of drinks that we don't drink, and we can hopefully come back refreshed individuals. So
yeah, that's awesome.
Not playing any video games probably for like a week.
Well, that will be a good thing. hopefully.
Well, I have my iPad, so we'll probably play at least the one that we're going to talk about next week. So.
Yeah. So we'll get to that a little later. But the game for this week we had talked about last week, which is Mlbpa Baseball. So have you ever played this game before, Weston? Before, like, today when we played?
No, I definitely have not played this game. And if I have, I must have been under the age of 5 because I don't remember it.
Yeah. So I had this game actually when I was a kid, and that's what drew me to it initially when we were trying to figure out what to do. I played like this game so much when I was a kid, and I really enjoyed it. And I just was thinking back to like sports games, and I'm not a huge baseball fan, but I did love this game as a kid, and it just we'll get into it, but I would say just coming back, revisiting it, 20 plus years later, I just feel the exact same way about it playing it again. So the game was released in North America in March of 1994 on Super Nintendo, and also, this is a fun fact, in 1995 on Game Gear.
Oh, did you have a Game Gear?
I did not have a Game Gear. The only thing I had as a kid was I guess I was all Nintendo. I had a Super Nintendo that I got one year.
Ooh.
So, a Super Nintendo and a Game Boy. Sorry.
Right. So I like I told you before, like back in the day before Netflix, there's this thing called Blockbuster Video. It was a glorious, wonderful Magic Kingdom that you could go and get stuff at, but you could actually rent consoles, and I rented Game Gears. So I do remember that. It was a good one.
Yeah, definitely. Game Gear, it was more of a Sega-based handheld that didn't hold up as well as Game Boy. Kind of lost its traction like immediately, but it was.
Well, that brings up a funny point that I was just thinking of about Game Gear was because it was more powerful than Game Boy. Mm-hmm. It like had better graphics, everything like that. But it just like everything that Nintendo's done, like they don't care about like the graphics necessarily or being on the cutting edge. They just care about like what's fun.
Oh yeah, it's all about the titles, and
like what's just fun. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, and Nintendo just drew in Pokemon for Game Boy, and that just kept the whole company afloat for a long time. Still does.
That's true.
Yeah,
but
anyway, back to the game. The publisher was EA Sports in the game. Which it's funny how that's never changed, that little motto.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, true.
Yeah, so anyway, it included the 1993 season's Major League players and stats, thanks to the Mlbpa license it had. So all the people were from 1993, and I actually recognized a few of them, believe it or not. I'm not a baseball fan, but you hear the names, I guess.
Yeah. So did you notice that? Did you notice that even like there was some chants and some music in there from actual like the MLB franchise or Major League Baseball? Whatever.
Yeah, it's cool because you played as in Atlanta, and here, just looking at it on Wikipedia, this was actually the first baseball game ever to include the Atlanta Braves, and that's who you played as. And they have the Tomahawk Chop theme song. And actually, I was like, just, from going to games in Atlanta and stuff, you know that song just, by ear. And I started during the little theme song, I started banging on the table. And you're like, what are you doing? I'm like, no, I'm playing along to the chant of the Atlanta Braves Tomahawk Chop theme song.
So, what's crazy is this, that I don't know how they knew that, but they kind of put that thing in there. They were obviously the Braves were super popular during that time because that's when they were really good. Because this came out in '94 and they won the World Series in '95.
Oh, that's funny. Yeah, I didn't realize they won the World Series that year.
Mm-hmm. This
was the game that did it.
That's why it. All because of EA Sports.
Yeah, it's in the game. Yeah, so anyway, just some other things about the game. I mean, I feel like we had a lot of fun playing it, as far as the mechanics and stuff. It was kind of challenging to get the hang of, even I played it a little bit just on my own this week, and, even just playing with you, I was still having trouble. I got some base hits and some runs and stuff like that, but it was definitely kind of a game of cat and mouse, and you really felt like you're watching a baseball game on TV, but you're controlling it, and you have the same like mystery of is he going to throw a curveball? Is he going to throw a ball? Is he going to throw a strike? Is it going to be slow? Is it going to be fast? So all those mechanics were really cool about it, I thought.
Yeah, especially for especially for just like the time it was, and I say this, of course, every game, for the time it was really good. But no, for real, like it felt like I think the last time I played a baseball game was in 2007. Like I don't know, 17. It was like 10 years ago.
Yeah.
And not much has changed.
MLB 2K. Yeah, that's when the last time I played.
Yeah, like I don't think much has changed. I mean, there was a hitbox and you had a little bit better combinations of what you could do, but the same feeling of being at a baseball game, and especially like I think we were talking about this, the music and the crowd noise, like it made me feel like I was just kind of sitting in the stands waiting for, like the big play. I don't know. I liked it.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, even like throughout the game, the pitcher kind of tires out, which is a cool little mechanic about it. It's not just the same stats going. The pitcher actually tires out. So midway through the game, I changed the pitcher, and they had like a little graphic that came across the screen for the pitcher change, and that was, with music and all that kind of stuff. It was just it was really, really like cool. Like you said, you actually feel like you're there on the field, or at the game. It kind of gives you that. I wouldn't really say nostalgic because I still sometimes go to games, but it just gives you that feeling of being at the ballpark.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't been to a baseball game in quite a long time, maybe a couple of years, but going to the park for me is the best part. Like, I don't really like watching it on TV, but going to a baseball game and feeling like you're just part of the crowd, and everyone's, whenever it's like charge, and you're all in doing the wave and just watching the ball game. That's kind of like the part that I really liked. I thought it was really cool too is they showed it like the RBI and the batting average and everything. They kind of had those stats as well, which I would imagine would be a lot of like data gathering even during that time and putting in this game. Like people were pretty meticulous about the players and those stats. So I thought that was nice too. It wasn't like 1 out of 10 power level,
Yeah, definitely. It definitely had some, I wouldn't say customization because everything was there, but the players were meticulously thought out. Like, I was the Dodgers, and Mike Piazza played for them at the time. And, when he walks up, you're like, okay, you got to worry about him because he could possibly hit a home run, kind of thing. And you just hit me with the ball every time I was him just so I wouldn't hit a home run.
Bro, that's what the major leagues do. The coaches, they're like, all right, this guy can really hit, so just get him on base, like just walk him, or hit him.
Yeah, and that was a good strategy. But yeah, and then we didn't officially hit a home run. Weston got really, really close. You got robbed on that, I would say.
Yeah, it was with like 1 inch.
Yeah,
it was 1 pixel.
Yeah, it was pretty bad, pretty sad for your situation. But I was pretty happy that it wasn't. But you still got like a base hit and a run out of it, so I guess it worked out.
Yeah, if I knew the controls a little bit better, I think if we played another game, it would be a little bit of a different story, if you know what I mean. Okay.
Yeah, well, due to timing and Disney, that is calling your name. It's not. I guess it's just not happening.
Yeah, Mickey Mouse is wants my body. I don't know. That came out weird. I don't know what to say.
It's getting weird now. Yeah, but so this game, just the different kind of feels of like bunting, and they had the aspect of you could be hit by the pitch or you hit a foul ball. Obviously, you keep hitting foul balls, it'll keep going unless it's like the third strike or whatever, and then you get out, or I mean the second out, you get out after you hit a foul ball on the third strike. But yeah, it was just I think it was a really well thought out and put together game, and I'm not just saying that to like, oh yeah, we played this game, so it must be awesome, kind of thing. I really loved this game back in the day, and like exactly what I said, how well thought out it was, and how like things just weren't like cookie cutter type stuff,
Yeah, well, obviously from last week and how we felt about Spider-Man and Venom, we're definitely not saying everything's good because there's some doo-doo amongst the mix. But like there was a lot of detail on this, and number one, it was fluid to play. Like the controls felt really nice too. They were way less clunky than Spider-Man and Venom.
Yeah,
they felt pretty stinking fluid because whenever someone would hit. Number one is it had some depth, like so the ball would like go closer. It almost felt like it was going closer to like the camera, it was, and then it would come down. So it felt like it wasn't just 2D, just like from one point to one point. Like it felt like there was some depth, even though it was 2D, which was cool. And if you're moving around your dude on the outfield, which I'm hopefully you were trying to get the bases, it wasn't laggy. It was pretty sharp versus even when we played Spider-Man last week. The controls were laggy. Like I didn't think that when I, as soon as I moved somewhere, it was instant. I don't know why. Like, but there was some sort of like weird control input lag, and I didn't feel like that in this game.
Yeah. It was overall. It was just a really smooth experience. One other thing I noticed is like when you hit the ball, you could either do a full swing or you could do a pull. Swing. I don't know if exactly, but like you could kind of half, like where you don't swing it enough to get a strike, but you kind of pull the bat, kind of thing. So that was just if you tapped it or if you held it, you would full swing, kind of thing, which is cool.
Yeah, no, that's I didn't even I just was trying to get those homers every time, so I didn't try to pull back. But
you threw a couple like balls that I pulled on, and I got a ball. I was like, oh, that's actually pretty cool. That worked. That it wasn't just like, oh, you swung it so you get a strike. You moved the bat so you got a strike.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah, kind of more realistic kind of approach to it. As far as the roster, I kind of went through different teams when I was going through it, and the American League, the National League, it had everybody you would think of, like all the stars at that time. Were in the game, kind of thing. And as far as just a little bit more about the depth, minus just like one game, you could do like full seasons, and basically week to week you just like kind of pick the teams you want to play as and play those games, and then it would just kind of advance from there. And even in the menus, you could like check other, like when you start a game, it go ahead and it plays all the other computer games, and you could check the scores of those other games to see who is ahead or whatnot throughout, your game that you're playing. So that's kind of cool that it had that sort of depth to it to like AI it in that way.
Yeah, just get a little bit more than just like one game at a time or player versus player. There's actually, you felt like every game counted, which I really like.
Yeah, and I literally can't say enough about the soundtrack of this game. Even like the opening screen to the game when it's like da 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 da, and the guy, like the little message of the sports commentator comes on and shows him on the screen and stuff. It was pretty cool.
So the only thing that I think they could have done better with the music, because I really liked it too, because it was, I mean, more than anything else, it just was, for it being 8-bit or whatever, it wasn't annoying and it was catchy. Like you kind of were like, oh man, it was enjoyable. But man, if they could have just gotten a little bit of a little voice acting for the guy as soon as you start the game, where he's just like, so and so takes on the Atlanta Braves.
Yeah.
Okay, Tim, that would be so cool.
Yeah.
But overall, the game, I liked the music. I think it went really well, and it wasn't repetitive. It wasn't repetitive enough to be annoying at all. In fact, like you're kind of like bobbing your head like, man, this is nice.
Yeah, this is cool. I like too, like the little things they had about it, of like when you hit a strike, it's like strike, or like the umpire's actually calling the game, kind of thing, or foul ball, or take your base, kind of thing.
Yeah,
that was pretty cool.
Little stuff like that you get excited. It's almost like the cues, the audio cues for you to be like excited or, sad or whatever, instead of just being showing up on the screen. I think sound, especially on like as we have played these last couple games, sound matters a lot. I didn't realize, but
yeah, for sure. It kind of just like adds the full experience, like these days we are so spoiled with the way it is now, with these awesome instrumental music, like symphonies, recording the music for games, and like voice acting, and it's like you're watching a movie in some of these games, and it just adds so much more depth to the game. And that's something like I appreciate about this game for the time period, it added a lot of depth just by having that. Like I didn't play it with the sound off, but I could imagine playing it with the sound off, and I just really probably wouldn't have played as long as I did, just because it would have got boring, just audio wise. So anyway, sorry.
Yeah. No, I love that we played this against each other, like two-player, because I mean, for being a game that came out in 1994, I was having fun. Like we were laughing and yelling at each other, and it was it wasn't just an AI. Like I thought it was it was fun. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, and like I said, it was cool that we could play together because you could like build the suspense too. When if you're the pitcher, you're like, oh, okay, I'm gonna wait on this one. Oh, am I gonna throw it? Oh, when is he going to throw it? Kind of thing. And you could kind of build the suspense of what baseball is. What it's a lot of cat and mouse. It's like, is he going to throw a ball at me? Is he going to throw a strike? Is he going to throw a curveball? That literally is what baseball is in real life, kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And, you can kind of, in situations in baseball, a pitcher will set it up to where, you've got 2 strikes and you've got 3 balls. So it's literally a toss-up. Like you can have the batter, or the batter can have the pitcher right where he wants him, kind of thing in those sort of situations. So
no,
a lot of depth, a lot of. It was just really fun, but also it was pretty simple where you could just jump in and play at the same time. But a lot of depth to the world building, I would say, of the game.
Yeah, I mean, here's the deal: is like if I had a arcade machine, or one like I had one of those that you could play different ones from back in the day, I would want this on the machine. So
yeah,
there was a lot of good arcade games, but I would want this one because it was to me that was that fun to like back and forth, especially 2-player.
Oh yeah, for sure. This is probably a game I will play with my son in a few years when he's a little older. Like I enjoyed it that much, kind of thing. So.
Nah, he's gonna be like, "Daddy, this isn't VR."
Yeah, true. But we're gonna visit the old stuff. He's gonna see how we did it back in the old days for sure.
Yeah, I gotcha. Cool.
Yeah. Anyway, so once again, EA Sports was the publisher. Director was Happy Keller.
Happy Keller.
Visual Concepts also helped develop the game, which I'm not even sure if they're around anymore. I remember they were in a lot of stuff back in the day. Let's see.
I doubt it.
They own 2K Sports, so yeah, they are still around.
Oh,
yeah.
Never mind.
They're a juggernaut.
Yeah. They have the monopoly on sports games now.
Yeah, pretty much.
Cool.
Let's see their most recent development. Let me just scroll down here. WWE 2K19. Yep. So they're basically just NBA 2K and WWE 2Ks until they get that NFL license back. Then it's on.
Yeah. I mean, but hey, in the meantime, you got WWE. Yay.
Woo! Oh, speaking of basketball, this is kind of we'll go back to Mlbpa here in a minute, but they announced today Space Jam with LeBron. It's a thing that is happening.
Ooh. See, we all knew it was happening, but now it's announced. It's official.
Yeah, it's legit happening. There's been like a press release about it, like a picture on Twitter of like the locker room with like the little tune team.
Oh, I just
jersey.
saw that.
Yeah, man.
I saw that too. I was like, why is this just a picture of his locker room? And then finally, it just makes sense.
Connected.
I literally didn't under. I saw it while I was driving home. I was like, LeBron, what are you doing, bro? And then, oh, that's awesome. That's so cool.
Yeah, anyway, back to the game, though. So we got to rate this like we do every week. For this game, I think we're just going to do like I'm going to rate it in baseballs, and I'm going to give this game a 5 out of 5 just because it lived up to every single expectation I had of it coming back 20 years later. So,
yes. So I have to agree with you. I give it 5 out of 5s. For any game that can be 1994 and me legitimately keep my attention for as long as it did, and me having me laugh and want to play it more. I mean, we played one game and I literally want to challenge you to a rematch right now. Like I'm just chomping at the bit. So I think it's 5 out of 5 for me as well. I love the music. It was fluid. There was nothing that I really disliked about it. It just was, they're just building upon what this game did. So I think for the time, 5 out of 5.
Yeah, for sure. Right there with you. So that's a good one. We'll close the book on that one. All in all, pretty good. I've been pretty happy with our format going here with playing these retro games. It's just cool. It's like fun to revisit
man.
the stuff. So I'm down.
Real cool. Love it.
Yep. So anyway, on to other things. You got Spider-Man last week. So how's that been going?
Well, I got it on Friday. I didn't play it on Friday or Saturday because we had things. And then I came home or woke up Sunday morning and we went out to lunch, which was like an early lunch. I came home, I popped it in, and I was thinking it was going to be really good. I already knew that it was going to be good. And I did.
Yeah.
So I played it from like 12 or 1 to 12 at midnight.
Wow.
Next day.
That's like 10, 11 hours. Like,
It's probably 10
breaks.
hours.
With breaks.
Yeah, I mean, with breaks. Like I ate and like did some other stuff, but sorry. Oh my god. It's late here. I literally sat down in front of the TV and started from the first thing and went just storyline or this after that, did side quests. That game, no doubt without me, that game is the best looking PS4 game I've ever seen.
Yeah, for sure. I'd agree with that. I mean, I play a lot of PS4, so but I 100% agree. That game is just so entrancing. Like, we were talking the other night, and you were a little bit, we were right at the same spot in the game, and like I got to play last night and the night before after the kiddo went to bed. And man, the game has just gone to a whole new level from where it was at
man.
like the night before. It's just all the twists and turns and kind of, it's just it's so good. And the side quests and all, the fun stuff we talked about before. But yeah, I'm glad you got it. It's definitely one of those that's going to stick around for a while.
Yeah, I mean, so the here's what I love about the game. It's open world, so you can kind of do anything you want, but the combat's really good. The customization's good. Like I said, the graphics are insane. Like, there's no graininess at all. There's no glitchiness. I haven't found any glitch. And then the main storyline is really good as well. And the voice acting's good. Like, I'm trying to find something that I really haven't liked about this game. Probably like the loading screens.
Yeah,
maybe you're like
that gets
5
annoying.
seconds.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like 5-10 seconds sometimes. And when you die, like, it reloads the same content, so every time you die or like have a failed mission, it takes like 15 seconds to reload, which is not that long. But I play on a solid state PC with a really nice graphics card, like normally, so I'm kind of picky with that. But
yeah,
this game's been great. I completely love it.
Oh yeah,
So.
I would have to agree. I'm gonna probably play a lot this week, and you'll be catching up. But I can't wait to like do a little roundup on that game after we've both been through it and we both beat it. Obviously there's gonna be some DLC and stuff like that, but just the main storyline, we gotta do some kind of little roundup on that. That's pretty cool. But
so, since there hasn't been a new Spider-Man game recently, but there's been like a lot of the movies, like that's probably been the biggest, and like there's comics obviously if you follow that, but most people don't. But so the movies, when I've watched like the most recent one, like movie, it's Spider-Man and the Vulture, right? I liked that movie. Like it was a good. I didn't dislike it. I thought that was a good movie.
Oh yeah.
But did that inspire you the same way that this game did? Personally,
I feel different about this game because that was like an MCU thing, kind of thing. Like
That's true.
I feel different about this game just because it's like building the Spider world, kind of thing. And there's other little Easter eggs like the Sanctum, Doctor Strange's Sanctum, and like Avengers Tower and stuff like that. So there's potential for that kind of stuff. But it is like once you get past kind of the fluff of the beginning, it's so intense. Like the whole game is so intense, kind of thing. So. It like I leave the game like, oh man, this is so good. Like I usually, my wife doesn't really care about those kind of things, and so I won't really like, oh yeah, this game and that. But I was just like sitting there the whole night. I'm like, babe, this is what happened. Oh my gosh, and then this happened, and then that happened, and it's just so crazy. I'm like, you need to watch this game. It's like a movie. And she's like, okay, calm down. But yeah, definitely would say like it's inspired me in a feeling I felt like when the very first movie came out. You know, like we saw that too. We got picked up from school and saw that together. And like I just remember, at least I did. I walked away like, oh my gosh, that was the coolest thing ever. You know?
Yeah. So I felt it's actually funny because I felt that way like you did, the same thing, like that first movie that came out, and looking back on it, it's really not the best movie, but for what it was at the time when there was no other like superhero movies, it was so good. And even like the Green Guy, I don't know, it was a good movie for the time, even though we don't like, I know you don't like, I hope you don't like, you know, Tobey Maguire Spider-Man. He wasn't the best Spider-Man, but it was fantastic. It made me feel like I did when I first like knew about Spider-Man and started watching the series. Mm-hmm. And then the next one that did that for me was The Amazing Spider-Man with Electro, the one with
that's kind of against the grain because a lot of people like the first movie, but the second movie people were like, "No, I'm good."
No, I think the second movie was fantastic, and has a lot to do with me liking the character and it being dark, and also just you like. I personally like that Spider-Man, but the newest one I really liked it. I thought it was a good movie, but it didn't give me the same Spider nostalgia that this game, like the Spider-Man portrayed in it, reeks of Peter Parker. Like you're just like, yes, this is Spider-Man and MJ and all of his baddies, and he's conflicted, but he wants to do the right thing, and I love it. I think it reminds me of the true Spider-Man, even more so than the original movie, any of the movies. But it just it has a sense of what Spider-Man's all about. You're crawling through vents, you're fighting off these dudes. You're conflicted because you want to do the right thing, but also you're basically like a broke loser who loves Mary Jane.
Yeah, exactly. And one thing like in the game is done for like with me, I feel for him playing the game, you know, because he gets so beat up in this game. I'm like, oh man, that was rough, you know, like some of the hits he takes and
oh yeah, for sure,
like how he's laying on the ground at some points of the game and stuff. You're just like that's one thing. A video game normally I'm just like, oh yeah, moving on, but like just the story's so entrancing. I feel for him in the game. I'm like, oh man, that sucks, you know.
Yeah, and I think that's why, even though like a lot of people, you said a lot of people didn't like the one with Electro, is you feel super bad for Spider-Man. And in the original series in the comics, Spider-Man always has like he has this other side to him that's kind of like depressive, and he's always like Mary Jane disappears for a while, and then he likes this girl and she goes missing, and he's trying to help Aunt May, but she gets taken. You know, he's just kind of conflicted, and I think that's the whole point of Spider-Man, like choosing everyone rather than himself. But
for sure, yeah. And we imagine a world with Andrew Garfield as the Marvel Cinematic Universe Spider-Man. That almost happened.
Oh, that's so sad. I like him better personally, but
I do too. Yeah, I just like the older, like not too old, but like he's out of high school type of feel, you know?
Yeah, the one that can still like roll around on a skateboard or is kind of nerdy. But like I said, the one portrayed in the video game is the correct one. Whoever they got the writing and how they portrayed him, he was the one that they should have cast or thought about when going in the Marvel Cinematic Universe and all that. So
yeah. Anyway,
2 thumbs up.
Yeah, we'll definitely be talking about that one a little more. This isn't the last time we'll discuss that, just because it's very good, and a
lot to go too.
Yeah, so much to go on that game. I'm gonna be playing that one through the winter, I believe. You know, just with all the DLC and then all that, and at least until Kingdom Hearts comes out.
Oof, don't talk to me dirty like that.
Oh gosh, the Big Hero 6 official trailer came out this week. I don't know if you saw it, but
yeah.
Oh, it's so good. It's my son loves Big Hero 6 right now. That's like his favorite movie, and like you know, so I've been watching it a lot, and I'm just like, this literally looks like the Disney movie, you know, kind of thing. It just looks so awesome.
Well, it better be freaking good, because they had the game finished pretty much, and then they're like, oh, we're going to do the Unreal 4 engine for graphics, revamp the entire game, and add new content. So it better look just like the game, because
for real,
they took another 2 years to just basically do the graphics and add some content. So
yeah, no, it's It's going to be good no matter what. And
yeah,
I kind of want to see a version of that game that was finished before, like, because they've added worlds and things like that since then,
Probably.
and kind of changed the whole everything now that, they got the Toy Story license for this game and all that kind of stuff. So I kind of want to see what that game was, the before game they scrapped.
Man, I bet it was. I bet it's pretty similar because I don't think they added that many worlds and stuff because it takes them so long to do each little thing because the detail and the story writing. So, but I don't know. Like, what was Breath of the Wild? It took them 10 years to make Breath of the Wild or Nintendo. So, what was that game 5 years in? Like, it's who knows?
Yeah, it was probably something else. That's for sure. Oh yeah, but yeah. So, other video game stuff. Nintendo started their own like PlayStation Plus thing this week, which has a lot of retro. They're starting with NES games that they're going to be adding to that, and then you basically have to play your Switch online now, which I don't do very much anyway. So
yeah, I kind of saw some of that stuff, but I don't play my Switch enough. I just pretty much play it on the go, or if there's a title that has come out that is only Nintendo. I like it. I really like my Switch, but if I'm at home, there's just too much other stuff.
Yeah, I'm really excited. I haven't touched my Switch in a couple months just because of that. Like, there's not been any titles I'm really excited about. But coming this fall is those Pokemon games, which look, intriguing, kind of thing. I'm not saying I'm like stoked about them because they're not like a regular RPG Pokemon, but there's those, and then ultimately Super Smash Brothers coming out. That's gonna be pretty sick.
Yeah, I'll play Smash Brothers. Definitely play Pokemon just because.
Yeah,
I've played. I actually haven't played all of the last couple ones I didn't play just because they got a little weird. But in general, if they're bringing them, they're basically bringing a revamp of the original one. So I'll play it. But we'll have to review them as just like a quick review or something.
Yeah, for sure. We'll talk about them as they come. Definitely gonna get those. That'd be fun to like. I like how they're adding back the aspect of like sitting in a room and playing together with that game too. So hopefully we'll be able to see each other at some point this winter, and we'll be able to play together or something.
Yeah, for sure, be good.
Yeah, and I know you and I had not so much in the last couple of weeks, but we're pretty Pokemon Go at. We play it pretty avidly. So.
Yeah, I haven't been playing the last couple weeks, but
I know because
I go through spurts. Sorry, I go through spurts where spurts where I'll play it for like months and religiously, like where I'm just like running around raiding, catching like every 2 seconds. But just been on a different flow. I'll get after our trip. I'll get back and start opening some of your gifts and sending you some too.
For sure. I played today and I got Entei from the research.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. It was
I don't have an Entei.
A good catch. And I caught a Ditto the other day, so that was pretty cool.
Oh, I have like 12 Dittos, but good job on the Entei.
Well, I didn't have a Ditto before, now I do, so I'm pretty excited about that.
Well,
and it was one of the research project things. So
Ditto.
Yeah, I'm 6 of 8 on the mythical discovery thing, so I'm pretty stoked about that.
Nice. I know if we were in the same town and we could roll around together, we would have trashed all those things by now. But
yeah, there's so many.
It's hard.
So many raids around here, and nobody shows up for them because I live in a town with about 17,000 people in it.
Wow, there's like 17,000 people in my neighborhood.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it's like my town is your neighborhood.
Pretty much.
It's okay though. I enjoy where I'm at. Yeah, let's see. Otherwise, as I said before, I'm a big Power Ranger fan, and Renegade Game Studios is developing with Hasbro, now that they own Power Rangers, a tabletop game. So I funded the Kickstarter. I'm pretty excited about that. I've never really been into tabletop games, but I look forward to playing that game.
Wait, you actually funded one of those, and it turned out good?
Yeah. I have to send you the link. It looks pretty cool. There's a bunch of Kickstarter exclusives that came with it for funding it, and
oh, that's so sick.
Yeah. So it looks pretty good, and like the little miniatures look good too. So it's going to be pretty cool. It comes out next year. So
Oh, very cool. I just like when those things actually turn out for the good, and the people that supported them get a little recognition and stuff like that.
Oh yeah,
So,
this game they asked for I think it was 200,000 or something, and maybe it was 100,000 they asked for, and they got 700, over 700,000.
oh my God.
Yeah, so a lot of it was right there around the big Power Morphicon time, so it was a huge deal going on in the Power Ranger world.
If we could only like kickstart Zoids again, then
Oh god,
my life would be complete.
Japanese has revived the series, so I'm hoping they're gonna do. There's a new series in Japanese, so I'm hoping they do a English dub.
They said they were going to, but that was back in February. So
Yeah.
who knows what those silly people are doing over at Hasbro with Zoids? Cause,
Yeah, well, they just released the Japanese finally in July, so
okay.
yeah, so there's still hope, and they have a Switch game coming out that's not been released yet. So
Yeah, I hope it. It's like it's so funny to me because we talk about this like 10 years later. Whenever they release the one game that we wanted on like
I
Pokemon, or the Pokemon game finally came out that we've been waiting our entire lives for, the MMO, whatever, and it's the same thing with Zoids. Like we've been wanting this since we were 17. It's been like 10 years, and
Yeah,
one day they're gonna
before
release the
that.
game.
yeah,
And no one's going to think it's cool because it's not that good in today's terms, but we will
you and
love
I
it because
are
it's
gonna
what
go
we
nuts.
wanted. For 20 years, we're going to be like, babe, take the kids.
yeah. There was that one GameCube game that was pretty serviceable, but other than that, it's just kind of like the Zoids front. The series was so good, and it just was. I think it was one of those the one that got away from everybody.
Yeah, I think that was definitely one of them that I truly, truly like. Even if I watch it today, I was like, this is so good. Why did no one make it like games or even comics and stuff? But there was just the figurines, and that was about it.
Yeah,
They're paintables,
sure.
but
Yep,
It's like
good
Gundam.
times.
yep.
Yeah, yeah,
Cool, man.
yeah. Anyway, anything else going on with you?
That's about it. I will check back in with you guys next week after I have visited so many theme parks and done so many childish things that my eyeballs will be gumdrops. But besides that,
Yeah, it's gonna be awesome. I'm jealous. I wish we could go, but my wife's
I know.
pregnant, so.
don't worry. Like once she has the baby and you guys get a couple years under both of those, we'll go all together.
Yeah, that'd
I'm
be
sure.
really
I'm sure we'll go back because it's not like I don't think it's like it used to be. From what I can gather, it's it's definitely kid fun, but it's adult friendly for sure. So
Oh yeah, they're making it all with all the different places to go, like Avatar and Star
Yeah.
Wars and
Oh,
all
yeah.
that Marvel.
So the Star Wars will be open, I think, this coming spring.
Oh, okay. So it's not even
Or-
open yet.
It's 2019. No, it's not. They have a bunch of Star Wars stuff, but the entire because to put this in perspective, Disney property is 2 Manhattans together.
Wow.
2 of them.
Holy
It's
moly.
massive. It's absolutely huge. So, and they have
insane.
so much land they haven't developed yet for things like this. And the Star Wars one is massive. So we'll definitely have to re-go and check that out.
Oh yeah, for sure. That's definitely going to happen whether we leave the kids for the weekend and go just like all of us. That'd be really fun or whatnot. But
Daddy, I want to see Mickey Mouse. Like, shut up.
yeah, you're staying home with grandma.
You're staying home.
Nah, I would probably bring him in a couple years, but we may have to leave the younger one. But anyway, we'll get to that when we get there.
Cool.
But that is a great segue into what we're doing next week. So,
Yes.
we have decided, since our friend Spencer is going to probably join us, we're going to play Super Star Wars, which is with Super Nintendo. They came out with all 3 of the original Star Wars, A New Hope, Empire Strikes Back, and Jedi, and Return of the Jedi. So they came out with side-scroller games that apparently got really good reviews and stuff. So we're gonna find out how good it actually was.
Yeah, it got a good score, so I'm hoping for some good things. And
Yeah, and this game actually is on PlayStation 4. It was released a couple years ago on PlayStation 4, so you can find it there, or just on Super Nintendo, which is what we're gonna play. But this is not a game we can play together, so we figure since you're going to be gone and everybody's going to be really busy, it'd be just like a good little game to play on our own. And it's not, since Spencer's going to be joining us, it's not 2-player, so we can't really play together anyway.
Yeah, it'll be good. We could have a little alone time, and after Sears tuckered out, walking around the parks all day, we can go back to our hotel room and I can fire it up, so it'll be good.
Yes, for sure. That we're gonna play just the first one, which was called. It was funny. I didn't realize this, but it was called Super Star Wars because it was on Super Nintendo. They did that with like Super Mario World, Super Mario Kart.
Super Star Wars, Super Nintendo.
Yeah. So anyway, I think it's going to come out a little later next week. This one will go up Thursday morning, and next week we're going to record on Thursday evening. Hopefully, if all works out well. So,
yes.
Yep, so we'll go over this game. Hopefully I'll be there. Otherwise, I will definitely play it. And let's see, this is our is this our third episode? Yeah. So this is our third episode. We're going to do this one and one more in the Super Nintendo realm. So we'll figure that out throughout the week what we're going to do exactly. But one more in this kind of realm, and then we're going to move on to like another console. Does that sound good to you?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that'll be a good little stepping stone if we do like 5 at a time, and we can always come back if there's something that's really grabbing our attention or someone request as well. So,
yeah.
But I think we should do 5 at a time. There's a lot of old consoles that we can kind of talk about, and just I think the progression of games and just in general will be kind of fun to visit. So we'll probably move on after this or after one more.
Yeah, that'll be definitely fun. And also, I just as a sidebar, I saw news today that they're going to release a legacy PlayStation collection like they have with the Super Nintendo, like we do.
Yummy.
They're going to have like preloaded games onto that. So that's pretty cool too. I'm sure we'll pick up one of those.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, but anyway, we're going to just play the first one, and depending on how good this one is and, how far we get through it and all that, I definitely we'll sprinkle the other ones out throughout the podcast. We're not going to play them all together. You don't want to we don't want to do 3 in a row or review 3 at one time kind of thing. So if we like this one, we'll definitely circle back to the other 2 games as well.
Yeah, sounds good.
In this series. So I kind of like that with Super Nintendo. They did that kind of thing with some of these movies. Like I know with the Batman movies, they made side scrollers that were, and they covered all of them kind of thing. But I think out of them, this one got the best reviews. So like I said, we're going to figure that out.
Yes, we will.
Yep. Well, anyway, I think that's all for me, man.
Yeah, me too. I think we got all covered, so time to get out of here.
Yep. All right. Well, until next week, signing off, Mason Merrill, Weston Toth. We need like a good sign off. We need something that's like, see you next time.
Bye, losers.
Yeah. Well, I'll figure out. I'll workshop something this week. We'll figure it out.
Workshop it, bro.
Yeah. Until next time, this has been the Karate in the Garage podcast. See you later.
Later.
Thanks again for listening. If you'd like to send us a message, you can email us at kitgpodcast@gmail.com or tweet us at kitgpodcast on Twitter.